I think we are loading up. And we are live, I believe.
All right, we're live.
Yep.
All right. Welcome to the season finale of the Contemplative CrossFit My Stream episode 11. Yeah. And man, this cohort went by pretty I don't want to say fast or slow, but it just kind of went by. Yeah, so I guess in this episode we're just gonna recap what went on this season, what we learned, and the events that are coming up. And we're titling this episode the last exit. It's the last episode, and I feel like a lot of people that have been doing a solo thing for a while, like practicing solo is has become their exit, and it's like they're always asking, "What's the final thing? The final thing? Maybe the final thing is whatever you're in right now, right?" And then the way to enter we've been talking about is actually just finding a community. Yeah,
Yeah, to participate and to engage, right? And
yeah,
have different tiers to it. I think so recently we've also been doing a lot of coaching call. This is also last week we're wrapping on the different coaching calls that have people book. And the performance days we have coming up is next week. We're gonna host a 5 day open gym mini boot camp,
yep.
right?
17.
August 17th to August 21st, and we're gonna do from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. pretty much like training in our boot camp. So we're gonna sit for the first 1 hour in transmission provided by Taylor, and then afterwards we're gonna go into discussion, like whatever we experience, talk about it, reflect on it, have feedback from Albert and the mentor team. We're gonna do that for 5 days in a row, and the last time we did it, the entire 5 days was about pointing out exit
Exit.
strategies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like that perhaps was like the first time that um we come together with the outer community and the inner community and really build on this kind of intimacy. And I think for a
Mm.
lot of people that was very surprising.
Yeah, that's last mini boot camp was we were calling it public practice week, and I think even the team was surprised how it just came together. It's like all the machinery is just starting to like really congeal. It's like you got the breakout rooms and Shiraj, the mentors, and they were just hosting the rooms, and the whole thing just felt it felt very professional. Yeah, but that
Mm.
was like we're kind of in a sense barely scratching the surface. Yeah, but that was the first time I realized that this whole machine is actually kind of running by itself. Yeah. And this time we're
Yeah.
gonna have should we I don't know if we should want to review it, but I think the final day is gonna be a little special. Yeah, I'm
Yep.
gonna screen like a 5 minute video, gonna premiere a 5 minute video, and the breakout rooms are actually I think it's okay to talk about this. The breakout rooms are gonna be hosted by the people that are in the bootcamp, like not the mentors actually. Actually the acolytes, people that are going to become interns, and a couple of them are the first timers, they're rookies. So like from their perspective, I think is much more relatable to the outer rings. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So very much like people who maybe just joined one boot camp, just finished that. Right now it's week 12. So you guys,
yeah,
people from outside CC can really get a chance to not just to see what is the experience of going through a boot camp, but also to talk to
hmm,
people who just finished it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
guys
So
should check out
so
my last video. Enlightenment is a team sport because there's some testimonials there from people that never really meditated before they joined CC. Because that's one of the things we're contending with, right? It's like I
yeah,
think the
yeah,
last time we target specifically people that already had a breakthrough or a few breakthroughs. Yeah, but
yeah,
you go to our website, it's like, oh, you had an awakening, now what? And then we
yeah,
realized that that was good for that time. We did get people that are specific for that cohort nine and it went really well. But then this time around, after doing the coaching call, one thing we realized is some people were intimidated. Some people canceled the calls on us last minute. They kind of scared because like sometimes we present ourselves as like kind of having this like elitist, not intentionally, but elitist kind of attitude.
yeah.
But now this time we're gonna be like it's really about companionship ultimately.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it can be even more simple than that, where just
Yeah.
practice together. just come
Yeah.
together, practice together, because we were seeing that some of the most impressive transformation actually coming from
Hmm.
people who never had a formal practice. So maybe
Yeah.
they have previously done meditation through a meditation app or kind of pick up videos here and there, but they come in with a kind of genuine willingness to train and to
Engage. Yeah.
change and
Yeah.
engage,
Yeah.
participate, discuss, make new friends, build relationship, and in
Hmm.
12 weeks, they can really
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't be afraid to sign up. Yeah, I think today at the meeting we're talking about something pretty interesting. It's like when you're kind of like on the edge, right? It's kind of like if you push too hard, if we just keep, hey man, come join us. If you give it a little too hard of a push, they will contract back into their views. And if
Mm,
you under push too, then they might like wait until the last minute and might not want to join. But and then you will ask like, what is the number one thing that's preventing people from like joining, right? And I was like, fear, because like if I was in that position, I'll probably be scared. I'll be scared of people pointing out my views. So I have to come out of my shell, right? Like I think that would be something that I would be contending with
yeah,
if I was gonna apply. Because that affliction is what you're trying to flip, but that affliction is also what's driving you to want to engage. So it's like a paradox, right? Yeah, because we know there's something that's not complete yet. We know that we probably need some kind of a help, but then at the same time, we know that that help can really like take the rug from underneath our feet. But that's the whole
mm,
paradox with awakening, right? So you don't want to let go of your previous ways, but you know you have to change.
yeah.
But then
It's
I
like
think our
others,
conclusion is like you just need like external life circumstance. It's like if I was in that position, if my girlfriend breaks up with me, or if like I had like a some kind of a sign from the universe where it's like life circumstances, you have to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will say like I think we still name it a boot camp, right? And it's a boot camp and a mini boot camp. So the structure of boot camp itself is going to bring some flavor of intensity, right? And
Hmm.
can't sugarcoat that. It's going to be
Yeah.
intense in some ways, but we also put the trust that you can handle it, that you actually have the capacity to meet yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you just gotta like I've been saying like all season, just if you can come as you are and just be genuine, just not even trying to prove anything, just be honest with yourself, then you can handle it.
Yeah.
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 But that's
Because
the
I
thing
think,
though, most people don't know how to be honest with themselves, kind of like
yeah, that's true.
uh, I mean, like we all still working on that too. There's like further refinements. Like the more you train, even for me, it's like you just start noticing little things that you're still not honest about. And then you just kind of have to face them eventually because we say this container, there's no exit. There's really no exit away from yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, I think um, the way that spiritual practitioners gather online, there could be this interesting phenomenon where we are lone wolf, like have that kind of lone wolf karma.
Hmm.
So we somewhat isolated from our friends, family, people around us,
Yeah.
and these karma come up online and they talk to each other, but they actually
Hmm.
don't get close to each other because
Yeah. Yeah.
once we actually
I know
get
what you mean.
close, then all these patterns start to show up. So
Yeah.
we can,
Yeah.
chat here and there, shoot a DM, messaging like this, but like an ongoing contact. That could be intimidating.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like if you stay with the same group of people that actually care about you and actually willing to do this together, it's like the layers come out, the layers come out. But whereas like if you don't go through a training like this, you can be in like a community or like a Facebook group where you it's still like the outer layer, you just keep getting reinforced. Not always, but like I find that back then when even when I don't think I was in that many communities or whatever, but I can see like the Reddit, sometimes the subreddit like stream or whatever. It's I don't know. It just it doesn't get to the root of it, I feel like. Some people go there
Mm,
to like try to verify their awakening or whatever. And then yeah, it's hard to do that when you don't spend time with each other, right? You don't spend time discussing life and just every day have like people with good intentions might point out your blind spot in a skillful way. where there's just no face too, right? Like all of this message board. You know how it is on like on internet trolls, right? It's like when you actually show your face and actually is willing to engage that way, it makes a world of difference. Even people that comment on
Mm,
my videos, like there's no face. It's very easy to just say crazy shit. But then you when you
right.
actually meet them, like when I do this coaching calls or like you actually see them on Zoom, even on Zoom, it's fine. You just see them face and like most of them are like they're genuine, I would say,
Yeah.
willing
Yeah.
to engage.
Because I think like in the most recent embodiment workshop we got, there's a few people who mentioned that because we are sitting in a group, they have
Hmm.
the persistence to go beyond what they like normally would end the session at. Like they would probably
Yeah.
end at around 30 minutes, just feel pretty good, pretty absorbed, and then they can even couldn't ride that state. They just ride that state. But because
Hmm.
there's instruction and there is a type of like a training plan that John was walking us through the sense of, okay, now actually go to the edge, ride the
Hmm.
breath, go to the edge,
Hmm.
and face intensity, grief. And people say that it was actually a good workout because there's
Hmm.
that aspect of accountability. And when we're by
Yeah,
ourselves,
accountability.
maybe, yeah, maybe we wouldn't push ourselves to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, my point was that you can't push yourself because you can't use the blind spot to point out its own blind spot. So like you are going to one way or another try to get away from your edge, even if you're not you don't
Mm,
have that intention. Because that's what happens when you get closer to your affliction, right? Because the affliction always has a way, the karma always has a way to sustain its own holding pattern. So
mm,
that's why when people actually make breakthroughs, I feel like it's either external life circumstances or they're just insane or they have a community. The community of people that actually just like push you along and hold you accountable, it's really a whole world of difference, I feel like. Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with solo practice. Like you can get pretty far with solo practice, but there will be an edge where it's very difficult to push through alone. Unless, like I said,
oh,
there's some life circumstances or just some accident, right? When Chulidasa said that awakening is an accident, I don't think it has to be an accident. Maybe by yourself, yeah, there's some kind of accident, like all the cause and conditions somehow align. You just have the karma to like have a breakthrough. But I feel like it doesn't have to be an accident. It can be contained or like conditioned. You can actually provide the right condition, a container. But then to do that,
mm,
it's hard to do that by yourself. Yeah.
right. I really like how you respond to there was someone asking you about um, why are so many traditions emphasize the need to isolate, and you were
Yeah.
mentioning that that could be a very important phase, right?
Yeah. That could be a very important phase. Mm.
But I think like the condition of the modern life may be very different because people are already isolated.
That's what I discovered too. It's like this isolation thing is like a very modern affliction. Yeah, it's weird because like we've always lived in communities. Like humans, one of the reasons why we have big brains is because we are social animals. Like
Mm,
I've been watching a lot of documentaries about like cavemen and stuff. It's like that's the only reason we even survived the ice age and all these different like very difficult environments against those crazy beasts because we live in a community and in a community it's very complex like the one of the reasons why our brain grow to be so big is because we need to connect with other brains and figure shit out so we can actually survive the ice age or whatever crazy natural habitat we're inhabiting like because you have to figure out so many things where in politics or like where people keep their food how they distribute like supplies how to figure out who's the enemy who's your friend and stuff like that yeah
mm,
yeah we've always lived in communities yeah. But
yeah.
then, like, I think modernity is like community dressed up, like isolation dressed up as community. I feel like with social media, it's supposed to be a thing that connects people, but then people just use that like to build their personal brand, or even in spiritual community, right? We know we have a need to be social, but for some reason, in modernity, just kind of there's like a mixed signal there. It's like okay, it's a community, but somehow people are still going it alone,
Mm,
like
yeah,
social media, internet.
yeah.
And I
And
do feel like
especially
crossing the chasm with like AI and all the stuff coming up, I do think community is going to be huge. Like community and actually human connection is going to be huge. Because AI has a tendency to isolate you even more, but to a point where you're just going to explode. We're already seeing that kind of like people are going nuts, right?
you mean with AI and the
Yeah,
kind
just with
of
everything that's going on in the world. Yeah, it's like You have to find a community, I feel like.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, I think that because there is also so much of the affliction or dynamics that would only show up in relationality, right?
yeah.
In contrasting and staying with someone, things come up and you have to walk through it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, your afflictions can only be highlighted through relationships, I feel like. Yeah. That's why people are always like saying, oh, when you're with your girlfriend, your significant others, say, oh, that's like the catalyst for my awakening. But it doesn't just have to be your girlfriend. It can be a group of practitioners that actually get it. Because sometimes your girlfriend, your family, or whatever, people that like, oh, supposed to be your mirrors, they might not, they might be, that's another function. That's cool. But people that actually practice with you and you guys share the same aspiration and pedagogy. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it can be the case that
Pedagogy.
like those relationship, like your significant other, your parents, your children, like those are like the big conversation that right now for a lot of people it feels like it's a chasm they can't cross.
They can talk.
Maybe yeah, they can't talk about it or they tried, but it doesn't really work. And I
Mhm.
think there are many people in our community. I think we were posting Alex testimonials on Insta, and he was
Mhm.
mentioning one of the big thing is his relationship with his parents changed a lot,
Yeah, yeah, they
right?
go to therapy together. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't think I can
and
imagine doing that with my family. That's hardcore. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I think like these kind of conversation we have with one another, talking it out and discussing. Because I was also chatting with someone on a coaching call that at around week 6 or 7, something like that. A lot of the discussion space turns much more personal. You don't
Mm,
just you don't just talk about your sit and only that, but you also because the material for you to sit through is your
mm,
life, is your
yeah,
relationship at work or your relationship with your parents or family or whatever. So then
yeah, that's a good point.
you kind of have a place to express those things out and have someone provide illumination for you. I mean, there's a
Hmm.
lot of stuckness in your pattern that you're just trying to hold it on together.
Hmm. Yeah, 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 because it's like the only it sounds easier, but then it actually is. But the only thing you need to do really is just to illuminate your patterns. Right? We've been talking about rest and recognize, but sometimes you can't illuminate your patterns unless you like actually express it. But if you express it yourself, you go into this echo chamber. But even if you don't have the intention of like, oh, this I want to illuminate this, I want to awaken. You just talk about your life, and then with the transmission running through you, this discussion, you don't even have to talk about technical stuff or like the pedagogy. You can just talk about like whatever's going on in your life, and then things will get illuminated. Because remember last time I was mentioning how you can't really tackle the karma like directly? Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's kind of like, oh, you don't actually have intention to like want to exhaust this karma. You just come and just make connections with people. Just like you go on a date, you just make connections with people. But you just oh, somehow this thing that has been suppressing, if you find the right person to connect with, they just got expressed, it got illuminated. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
In a way, we don't really mean to do that, but that's the point, right? Yeah. Because I remember summing up this course, I think one of the things that I really noticed is like this cohort, people didn't really come off as trying to talk about pedagogy too much, except for Indeed. But it's like I remember like cohort 5 was like the most pragmatic cohort, but then people were like, people were asking a lot of questions about like what is the elements. Like I was talking a lot about like pedagogy and maybe trying to show off all this stuff. But this cohort, there's not a lot of that actually. People just come right in. It's like, oh yeah, we already get this kind of because like I guess maybe because we were marketing to people that already had awakening, whatever. But people come here, and then even the first couple of weeks, you were just noticing we were getting personal pretty fast. People were crying, and they were just talking about a very mundane thing very quickly. There's not a lot of like insistency on like trying to figure this out, or like even from my side trying to like prove something, or like oh yeah, I know about pedagogy and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's one
And
of
I
the reasons
think
why people
yeah,
making so much progress this cohort. I feel
yeah.
like yeah,
It's just become smoother, right? Smoother
yeah, yeah.
delivery,
Mm.
smoother receptivity. People just
Mm.
come in like immerse themselves in it.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like we're doing this boot camp, we also learn like about ourselves because we were talking about how like using spirituality to as an exit strategy is like maybe the verification of spiritual techniques or experiences or even your own insights can be its own exit strategy. And I feel like mm, even when we as a group talk a lot about pedagogy or whatever, that can be an exit strategy too, right? Because I think Yannick was noticing how in the beginning, last cohort, he was doing a lot of that. He was like talking about emptiness and all this like fancy mystical stuff. But then this cohort didn't do any of that actually. He was just who just share life stuff, and you can see how much change he's made. Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah.
can see that in myself too. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I can see that in myself too. Like this
Yeah.
cohort is bring up a lot of just personal stuff to contend with.
Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. I can see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, previous patterns, the way we make choices. I
Mm.
think this cohort we also really emphasize our ability. Like we simplify a lot of things. We talk
Mm.
about anatta realization, and there's many ways to talk about it. But I think one way we simplify it is to talk about it as in terms of cessation and then
Mhm.
change. Can you
Mm.
cease and then you can make a
Mhm.
change, make a new
Mm.
decision,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Interesting.
Because folks could be just seize, but they don't change.
Mm. Mm. They
That
get
could be a
too
problem.
insistent on like the technique of seizing. Instead of like
Yeah, it
seizing,
just
it's actually just a condition for you to actually change and make a difference in your life. It's not
yeah, it
about the
allow
seizing itself. Yeah.
yeah allow us to have the insight into dependent origination, right? To see
Mm.
this self structure coming back again and how we are,
It relates
you
to
know,
others.
generating this reality with all the meanings that then we immerse into it.
Hmm.
And then if we see that, then we can like, oh, I'm the cause of my reality, so let me change it. But
Mm-hmm.
then we see that the momentum of the previous choices would have a compound for you to want to go that way. But then
Hmm.
you see like, but I don't want to go that way. So then you're starting to repattern.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I can remember a few times this cohort. I mean, this cohort is like the first cohort I didn't really go nuts. I remember there was a couple of times where I wanted to like drive to the liquor store and buy some alcohol, but then I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna drive back. It's like repattering right there, like literally. It's like, yeah, everybody in the cohort is probably like taking ownership. Yeah, so it's like I'm just
Mhm.
gonna drive back. Yeah, just something as simple as that. Whereas before I was just like, well, before I realized that's what I was doing, but then I didn't really have that framework of like actually your life itself, like that that change in your life, like the literal trajectory of like your life of like driving down the road instead of a liquor store, just drive to the gym. Even that move was before me like, oh yeah,
Yep.
that's life stuff. Like, okay, this like I had a good sit or whatever. Who cares? Yeah, that I'll find excuses to be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But for me, there's a lot of times of like instead of just uh feeling the stress and then either trying to be really productive and just I'm gonna grind through this and suffer, or like
Hmm.
numb myself with scrolling on social media or porn, like recognizing that moment of stress, like, oh, I should get up and go outside and walk,
Mm. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
That
things
literally
like that, right?
pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, it's time to make a decision.
yeah, yeah. It's very interesting. Hmm.
Yeah. So that could be very, very small like that. Or yeah, like choices regarding to um what time we go to bed, what time we wake up, and all those small choices.
Mm, mm. Yeah.
What's your impression of folks that we have been interviewing here? I know that you also have a lot of
Um,
time spent with them.
mm. All the people that got put in the hot seat,
Yeah. So all the people we interview,
questions.
we guest in this season, right? So those are the guys that we were mentioning in hot seat in the A cohort. And yeah, they would also be in next week mini bootcamp.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to practice with them, they'll be there.
It's a diversity of people. They're all so different actually. But then that just kind of shows how like we're all in this spaceship together. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's yeah, I think the first couple of times when we were doing the interviews, there was still kind of like maybe an insistency on like, hey, we should maybe talk about the pedagogy or like make this like really fancy to like get people to like recognize what we're doing. But then after like maybe the halfway point to the boot camp, I'm just like, because I think we're doing like the karma of the week, and then I was like spending more time on the karma of the week, because me and you with Taylor we used to talk a lot about like all this pedagogy stuff. And then throughout the after the second half of it, I stopped paying that much attention to that, but more like exactly how they're participating like in the hostage discussions, like how are they
Mm,
like a lot more. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't really looked into the cohort D materials. I know there's many pedagogy refinement in there, view refinement and all those aspects. Um, but I think they also mentioned about that's not to load you up with more philosophical framework. It's actually to
Mm,
understand. like how your mind moves, and what is the movement of your mind. Very practical in that way. It can sound
mm,
philosophical, but it's a very much a direct experience refinement. Because
mm.
I think maybe a lot of times we can get caught up in trying to present a very sophisticated and impressive pedagogy
Yeah,
as a way to even potentially bypass
yeah,
just very
totally.
basic stuff of relating.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in a lot of the discussion, and the first half there was a lot of more emphasis on like fancy pedagogy. But the second half, I feel like the discussion just were a lot more casual, but more about life stuff. And there was even one discussion where we were specifically talking about how D relates to A. Yeah, like those of you who don't know, A is the cohort that focus more on relational skills or like relational fitness, and D is view refinement. But then there was one session where we were pointing out that in A, the people that were getting pinned and the people that are pinning them, they actually share the same karma. But then sometimes we don't see that, right? Because our views are not refined. And Taylor also keeps mentioning that ultimately view refinement is really about how you engage. That like how to be vulnerable. Because a lot of the times, Taylor would have like some of this exercise where you bring like a specific moment in your life where you get triggered or an uncomfortable moment where you have to like present it and then walk you through step by step by like exactly how that moment arose. And there can be a certain, yeah, it kind of feels like pinning when you do that actually. Yeah. Because if you really do the review refinement thing, right, it goes to the depth of your view, and that is what pinning is. Yeah. You can't really get to the depth of a view if you're not vulnerable. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. But then at the same
yeah.
time, you can't be vulnerable unless you can kind of see it. So you still have to learn the pedagogy, you still have to be precise, you still have to use the intellect, but not in a way where it doesn't connect to the heart or the gut, I think.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So you still need both. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and also have the staying power to stay in the vulnerability, right? Because
Yeah.
I think a
Yeah.
lot of times like we become vulnerable and then the wound come up and we would immediately try to look for an exit.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even like crying could be an exit. Anything could be an exit if you're not aware of it. Yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
what exit is. If you don't recognize, that's an exit. So you can literally be like doing some like ratchet shit. If you totally recognize what you're doing, it's not really an exit. But the thing is like if a lot of your fitness is not there, a lot of your stuff comes out. Like yeah, you can talk about like I'm gonna go to the club and do this shit, but like if you don't have enough fitness, all this karma comes out. You can't contend with it. You're just gonna be
Mm,
pulled
mm.
back into it regardless. But then you can make an
Yeah.
excuse afterwards or whatever. But that's how people get stuck, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to contend with a lot of that in this cohort just to see the limitation of my fitness
Hmm.
and see also like, oh, this is like not an overnight thing. I can't just think my way out of this or like do this one thing or apply this one technique and it will be able to resolve. This is gonna be a slow repatterning process, require a lot of patience and kindness and acceptance and all that.
Mm. Yeah, and also you also like still quite young, man. Like I think you say haven't gone through a lot of life experiences where you kind of
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
like, go through it exhausted.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I think like that's the challenge with a lot of younger folks out there, right? Like maybe we think of spirituality as a way that if I have these insight, have met these meditative states, somehow I don't
yeah,
have to go through those, turmoils of life or something like that.
mm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Whereas
Yeah, that
you're speaking about like the people that are been hostated, there's a lot of people, a few people like Matthew who's been through a lot of stuff in life. Like they're older, and it's almost like they're coming from the opposite side of that. It's kind of interesting.
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
they've lived through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I think like for older folks, people who have more experience, maybe in their late 30s, 40s, something like that. I remember we're talking about like flipping their worldly skills, their
Mhm.
worldly merit into wisdom, and like seeing how actually
Mm,
in that period that you were
yeah.
doing and just immersing yourself in whatever activities can actually be reclaimed, reowned, and to see that, oh, I
Mm.
was actually cultivating certain skills when I was going through that. Or, oh, that was actually the thing that now made me be able to empathize or relate with a vast majority of people out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing in your journey really goes to waste, I feel like. Yeah. Yeah. I think everything you've been through, it's it's just part of the journey, but then it's like you have to be able to recognize that's what's happening, like like consciously reclaiming, turning your karma to dharma. You have to like consciously recognize. If you consciously recognize, it's like, yeah, everything you went through in your life, all the skills you accumulated, like all that could be applied and reclaimed. Like Adrian. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm.
I think we can weave in and out of some question.
Other questions?
Yeah, we got one question. Hey guys, can a spiritual practice be equated to personalized container refinement?
What does that mean? Can you repeat that?
Can a spiritual practice be equated to personalized container refinement?
What does that mean?
Um, Personalized container refinement.
Like a personalized program, like your own container?
I think so. Yeah, like your content, like refining your container.
Mhm.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Like living your life and then seeing and a practice in that regarding is to help you reflect, recognize, and um, be able to make choices that would lead you towards freedom.
I still don't understand the question.
Yeah, I'm just kind of spitballing. I don't understand the question either.
Yeah, but indeed, we're like in the last discussion, we were talking about how commitment itself is already situated in a container. Like if you commit to something, there's already a container. Yeah, so like the point is not to have a container or to have too tight of a container. But even this path, like, oh, I'm gonna reach completion or whatever, there's a container to it. You have to commit to a container, like a workout program. But like it's like, do you see that's what like there is a container in which you're committed to. So you neither want to have no container, nor do you want to be like have a container that you're stuck in that you don't recognize. I feel like that could be applied to so many things. Like talking about commitment, right? It's like committed to a relationship. There's already a containment, like a container, right? There's already a meaning making structure around that.
Yeah, there's
So if
agreement
you're, yeah,
structure, right? Like you have
yeah,
to
yeah,
agree to certain thing. These are
hmm
the boundaries,
yep,
right? And you enter that and you honor that commitment.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, which can be very difficult, right? Especially if, yeah, that makes sense in regarding to the isolation as an exit strategy as well. Because I think
yeah,
when you isolate, you really don't need to make much commitment. But when you show up
yeah,
in a group, it's
true.
many commitment. Show up
Mm,
time,
mm,
um, like people counting for you to be there, so you
hmm
show up, and
hmm
there's also this pressure that can come with it.
mm. Or if you isolate, you can be in a container and you're committed to it, but you don't recognize its limitation. Like, oh, I'm just gonna
Mm,
keep practicing Vipassana. Or even like fitness, like people just work out by themselves. They don't hire coaches. After, of course, newbie gains is real. Of course, people make progress by themselves. But when you don't see that your commitment is in the container, it has become like a thing that it becomes the trap. If you don't see that, you can just continuously make commitment, but then you're strengthening the container without recognizing it. And then that's where it can be the exit, the trap.
mm,
But whereas like if you have, if you are aware of that, then you can see the sh how the container and how you commit shapeshift, right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's also pointing to this fact of I think when especially when people have beginning to see how everything is constructed, there can be a like a lack of commitment just to life itself, to anything. It's like, why do I need to commit to anything? It's all changing anyway. It's all empty, right? That's the failure mode, right? Of having some kind of initial insight, but then seeing commitment as somehow like antagonist to the insight. Yeah. Whereas the other way, the other failure, the other side of the extreme is committing to something so fully, so completely that you fail to see that it's a container. Yeah.
You fully identify with it, and maybe you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, fully
Can't go
identified.
beyond.
And you think you're committed. Yeah, it's almost like the commitment becomes its own essency or attachment. Um,
Mm. There's a second kind of question of sharing. I'm still stubborn and wanting to do this path on my own. I don't know why. I'm an introvert and people avoider, but again, you are right. I can't see my own bubble.
mhm. Oh, that's the first step, is right? And kind of admitting that, right? Just I think it's sometimes I feel like people, if they recognize it, they can continue to stay in the bubble, but then eventually you're gonna get tired of it. I don't know. Yeah, that's why sometimes when I think some recommendation from teachers are like, okay, if you realize that I amness awareness, you don't have to like burst out of it so quickly. Just stay in it for as long as you recognize that can be its own view. Just stay in it, and eventually you're gonna exhaust it in a sense, or you're gonna be like, okay, I need to move beyond it, and it will come naturally. Mm. So if you recognize it and you still want to do solo, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think maybe it could be also taking small steps, right?
Taking small steps, yeah.
Taking small steps, like and allow ourselves to be surprised by life, I guess, to be proven wrong,
Mm.
invalidate, right? Like
Yeah.
whatever we hold to be true about people out there. Um, yeah, because I think maybe people avoid her, especially with spiritual practitioner, that we have a view that I'm a practitioner, those are not the practitioners, and
Mm.
we put a wall up against other people, and it's really block off the intimacy.
Mm. Mm.
And yeah, small step could be, I don't know, just um, what would happen if we drop the spiritual programming and relate with one another?
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about in the beginning, right? It's like when we do the discussion nowadays, there's not so much like spirituality in there, really. It's just relating. Yeah, and then I've been talking about how even if you like tend to be a like lone wolf, I think deep down you still want to connect. I think that's human nature. Yeah. Even the insistence on like being alone, like there's some kind of a pride in there, right? It's like, oh, I want to be alone. I want other people to see how like I'm like a lone wolf, like I'm a hero in my own path.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But deep down inside, humans, they still want to connect. I feel like, oh shit, there's John.
John hopping on. What's up, John?
What's
We're
up, John?
live.
Are you guys
We're
still
we're
live?
live. Yep, we're
Oh
live.
shoot, what's up everybody? Just thought I'd say hi. I'm on my lunch break, so I was like, "Ooh,
Oh, sweet. John is our special guest today.
hey, what up everybody?" I was
What were we
catching
Talking
the
talking?
about
live stream on YouTube, but I wanted to jump on.
Yeah, what do you think? What have we been talking about?
There's a lag in the YouTube, so I'm probably like a couple minutes behind. What are you guys talking about?
we're just talking about
Uh,
right now about like there could be this pride in the isolation about I'm the hero of the journey. You guys look at me and I'm on a path. You guys are with the pack. You guys are
yeah,
not walking the walk. This kind of
yeah,
aspect of the
Mm.
pride.
yeah. Especially on social media, right? It's like people posting about their own journey. It's
Oh
like, hey
yeah,
man, you still want to be seen, and that's just all be seen, right? Let's just all
yeah,
connect.
yeah. Is that
Human
funny? Even
nature.
when you isolate, or when I remember wanting to isolate and really locking myself away for practice in my
Still
own
want
home
attention.
even. But still, I would talk about like, yeah, you
Yeah,
guys are, I don't need to interact with people or whatever. In a way, that's another way of wanting to be seen, right?
yeah. Or like, hey, I'm gonna come back in 6 months to watch me become a new person, so I can
Yeah,
like
right.
show prove that you're wrong and I was right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the isolation has a usefulness to it, right? Like
Totally.
there's it could be a medicine or a remedy to a current situation, but to make that the thing like, oh, this is the state I want to always be in or whatever. It's another thing, right? Yeah, it can be very
Yeah.
Yeah,
helpful to be isolated from distractions or whatever it is, right? To really boil yourself, put more pressure onto you. I find
For
it
sure.
very similar to the idea of like, breaking things apart so that we may understand it, but ultimately it's not separated. So in our own lives.
Yeah. I think we're talking this one guy, I don't know if it's a question, but yeah, oh, yeah, that this the previous question, this guy said he still wants to do the thing solo. He doesn't know why. Yeah.
Mhm.
But my advice was like, yeah, just as long as you recognize it.
Yeah, yeah, you know,
Yeah,
and
But
there's no
also like,
rush.
yeah, look at the context of the question, right? You are here with us. You're not alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
mm, mm, yeah, so people just still have that drive for whatever reason that needs to be investigated in a way exhausted. You kind of have to convince yourself, or you know, come to some sort of acceptance within yourself. Go, oh, okay, now I know why I
Yeah.
do or do not want to be isolated for whatever reason.
Yeah,
So,
once you see that, it's like then you would express it and exhaust it
mhm.
eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Week 12.
Yeah, I was talking in the beginning about how this bootcamp just kind of went by. Well, how do you feel, John? Week 12,
Uh,
last week.
Excellent, actually. Yeah, so much growth. I really can't believe it, actually. Hit the peak. You know, we have the phases of maintenance. Personally, I didn't have any crash outs this boot camp, so that's pretty awesome to see um, the strides in that way. Mm, yeah, it's just wonderful to see everyone going through it, and so happy to be a part of everything here, you know, especially in the behind the scenes, you know. So part of the operator team, we're doing so many coaching calls and in a way outreach, right? Putting out the signal. And what really kind of warms my heart is that I understand that the signal we put out there, there's many layers to it, but it's kind of a specific flavor. And when it really lands on someone to be able to hear, not
Mm,
just what we're saying outright, but the underlying kind of thing that we are pointing to or orienting to, it's really landing for a lot of people, is what I'm encountering in the coaching calls. So, um, yeah, it just feels good.
yeah. Yeah, I was mentioning earlier too, like I didn't have any like didn't really go crazy.
Yeah, right.
I would
But
say, I would
going
say
crazy is
this
cool
co
too. Like yeah, nothing wrong with that, but yeah.
I would say
Go
this
ahead.
cohort is when I recognize the pattern of me going crazy. I was like, oh, that's me going crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a really important insight. It's like you recognize how you're going crazy instead of like, oh, this is how like the representation of going crazy is not the point.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like,
For someone's going
yeah,
crazy might be like just not going crazy. It was like, okay, I'm doing really
I
good.
think
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's a good
yeah,
way
right?
to
Yeah,
explain it. Yep, yep, yep.
yeah, yeah.
like my version of going crazy in that way is like this kind of going and like when the pressure gets really high, I would try to figure it out and devise some sort of answer. Like I need to know what's going on right now. And I was just thinking, loop, 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 loop. And I was like, Poop, oh, I got the answer. But then afterwards, I'm really convinced that that's the answer to my problem right now.
Mm,
But previously, that for the previous cohort, I would just ride with that answer, and we're just like, oh, well, this is gonna be the new thing now. But now I'm
mm,
actually recognizing that's going crazy. That's
Mm,
actually like an escape strategy, like an exit.
yeah. Or like trying to do everything
interesting. Yeah.
yourself, right? Like trying to take on a lot of work, try to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
productive.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
go in so many ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be
like a freak
any
out.
particular, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, but
Mm-mm.
like there's also the freak out aspect as well, because now I recognize more that the process of trying to figure it out, the underlying, it's just anxiety, like an
Mm,
Yep.
inability to be with so much anxiety. So like,
Yeah.
mm,
One thing I noticed in myself is that I'm able to just be okay with not knowing either this current situation or maybe the I don't know if you could call it like the ultimate direction. In a way, it's like or maybe I do know the direction. It's just it doesn't really matter what the exact point is. So it just gives me peace to just continue. and be confident in whatever I'm doing. Because as I'm doing it, the deepening of contact realization, understanding whatever it is happens along the way. So it's not like I need that now to continue whatever process I'm going through. So it's really holding a lot of different seemingly ideas that seem to fight each other or that I don't even know what direction that is. All that is okay still. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
Because
a big part that, yeah.
yeah, that's a big time we've been
Like
talking about like all this time about purification, is like contending with the opposite ideas, contradictions, and just
mm-mm.
be okay with them sorting themselves out. If not, you
Yep,
just
yeah.
stay with it. Yeah, that's a fitness right there. Yeah.
Yeah, to see all that, right? All that processes so clearly is it being purified because I do remember when all these things were held in a jumble, like you're not really clear what you're holding. You feel like it's about to fall out of your grip, or like it's not even okay to have two different things that seem to clash, and you feel this internal friction or whatever it is. But now it's just like, okay, it's just processes happening, you know. So,
Mm. And like actually also making tangible change. So um, for me, that's like going on Khan Academy and taking Algebra 1.
mhm.
Wait, what
Like,
kind of academy is it? Like a community college?
no, like a free online material course for math and all sort of things. So
It's funny. It's called Khan Academy.
yeah, yeah. So I did
That's
How
Algebra
do you
cool.
spell
1,
that? Hmm.
just Khan and then Academy.
Yeah, it's
You
like
never
a
took
free
algebra?
online school.
Was that?
You never took algebra?
I took algebra in like secondary school, but we talk about this pride, right? This pride of a spiritual practitioner. I'm like, I don't need that. Like, that's whatever. But actually, there's this whole reality about mathematical understanding and science and engineering and all that. And that's actually like an insecurity of mine that I never look into it.
Hmm.
I would just prefer to be the whatever it is, the other side, like the spiritual, intuitive, creative, and
Hmm.
make them like hold a view that they are opposite of each other. And then
Hmm.
actually see they don't need to be opposite. And there's so much suffering that comes into maintaining this self-image.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Actually doing algebra, just actually doing it. Like it's
Interesting.
It seems different, huh? Don't you think?
actually doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it
Interesting.
interesting. Maybe I compare it to like, playing some sort of video game and you beat it, and then now you play it the second time, it's completely different in a way. And after some sort of, opening realization, things that I thought I had good understanding of after, whatever you want to call it, realization, you look back at old material or whatever you have in your life and you thought you had an idea of, all of a sudden the view of it is completely different. Old movies, old music,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, holy
I
shit,
was
what
just
the fuck?
have you seen The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls documentary?
No, no.
Have you seen that, Con?
I've seen it once, but it's quite a while ago.
Yeah, I was telling Con in the beginning. I think I watched The Last Dance for the second time. You know what's crazy? Like I had the Big Bang like right after I finished that entire series. I wrote
Mm-hmm.
about it, and then I'm watching it again now on a show Gibson, and I was just like, "Holy shit, this is like a lot better than the first time," because now I can understand the mechanism of like a team or an organization. Because back then I was just doing everything by myself. I couldn't relate to a lot of these. I was like
Yeah.
focused on the Michael Jordan, he's cool, David Rodman. I was focused on the individual characters more. But this time I was like,
Mm.
how does the organization come together? Sometimes you need to sacrifice this player, it's like so many different moving parts.
It's like you're looking
And
at with new eyes, right?
yeah, yeah, because of the training I'm doing in CC, not just
Mhm.
yogically, but like how do you work with other people? Like,
Yeah.
and
That
it's
reminds
interesting.
me of watching like rated R movies as a kid, like I watched so many movies as a kid that were probably inappropriate, but I didn't know any better. You watch it as an adult, it's like, oh, now I get that joke. It's like the
Mm,
maturation process and your view opens up and more reference points and all that kind of stuff. It's yeah, similar.
mm.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
that's
also even the boot camp this time to pay much more attention on the way the instruction was delivered. It was so different, so refreshing, right?
mm,
And we could
Yeah,
feel like we're
yeah.
doing the boot camp again, but
yeah.
now seeing more like,
Mm,
oh, Actually, we have never done a bootcamp, the same bootcamp twice.
Yeah.
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 It's
But in a
always
way,
different.
that's how life is. It's like we think we're going through something again, but it's like you're always going through something with fresh eyes. It's just like we have insistency on this is like we already done this before.
Mm.
But actually, every moment is fresh. Like we say that
Yeah.
all the time, but the degree and the subtlety in which you can really appreciate that and see that it goes deeper. Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's funny I definitely see in my own life. I call it like, efficiency, or you do these processes like in like at my job. I want these processes to be repeatable and consistent so I can continue to refine the work that I'm doing. I can very much see that in that there is an escape mechanism from really truly looking at the situation, just falling back into patterns, even though I insist that these patterns help the function of the work I'm doing go better. It When I do that, it really is escaping from the situation away, because um, I could even further deepen mm, uh, myself, the understanding of just the process, if I didn't escape in that way. So it's funny that I still will do the process, the pattern that works well, but I can also see that if I really wanted to deepen my experience overall, not just about the job I'm doing, but it would really be about uh, looking past the patterns that work even, right? So,
That's
meaning to
interesting.
say,
That makes me.
yeah,
We've been talking about like exit strategy. I feel like for a lot of people, it's like their exit strategy is their routines.
yeah, that's
Like
what I mean.
there's a
Yeah,
routine, like get up at 7 a.m., make coffee. Like
mhm,
you don't see
mhm,
how your entire routine is actually a
yeah,
self-care. Like
and
you
the
have to go
thing
to
is,
the gym this time of the day.
yeah,
Like
it could be totally functional too. And
yeah,
it's not like
exactly.
the routine itself is bad. It's actually really beneficial, but then also to be able to see the limit of that routine too. Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, it takes wisdom, right? To see that.
Mm. I think like a lot of people in the boot camp mentioned like just the fact that they have to shake up their routine to participate. Maybe they have to wake up,
It's already
yeah,
deconditioning them,
yeah,
repatterning them.
wake up a little earlier, stay up a little later, things, whatever. There's like this kind of, oh, I'm going to participate, but that the old version of me wouldn't be doing this, but I'm doing it now.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's why I
Yeah.
keep going back to what I always say in the beginning to tell people to just come and show up is 90% of the work. Yeah. Just by showing up here, you're already repatterning your old
Mm-hmm.
patterns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think like for me, if I can be honest with you guys, this cohort has been very eye-opening in the way of like, oh, I was carrying so much of the energy to try to prove my worth to be among the team. But there's also like just this insistence of like it's okay to be young and inexperienced. Just go get the experience. I
Mm,
think like previously,
Mm-hmm.
like the recent cohort has been like just so much like the kind of like that energy.
mm,
Yeah.
Finally, this
Yeah.
cohort is just like, oh, okay, I need to sit with this now and just really accept that this is the dynamic.
mm,
It could be very difficult, right? It's like to,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it is difficult for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Even in say how the same way I was looking at my patterns, right? And the example I just gave, if I look at UConn, you still are a good friend and so impressive in the knowledge and what you've always been sharing, yet you're able to recognize your own process in that, to mm, not let that be an anchor continuing forward, so
Yeah,
yeah, all
yeah,
these benefits, it goes to show like all these things that we think are beneficial, and they are beneficial. There's still more to investigate there to, in a way, not make it a thing, to finally see that transition point when anything that could be beneficial becomes a hindrance.
mm,
It's so subtle. It's so subtle. Like a lot of times, it sounds like we're people are being asked, or they ask themselves to kind of give up something that's quote unquote good or just comfortable or whatever it is. It's Takes a lot.
Yeah, the fine line between poison and medicine.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I was also thinking about you guys, journey experience, people who've been through many, many boot camps. Yeah, I remember John, you had a, I think it was cohort. There was one cohort where you kind of have to like scale back and figure things out, right? Arranging
Yeah.
different
I,
things.
I didn't even know why I had tattoos. I really like really try to like dig in what I formed around as my identity. Like, why'd I do anything? Really kind of it seemed like a rebuilding from that kind of ground up.
Mm,
But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think it was like cohort 6, like you were doing indie.
that's right. Yeah, things got so intense in five. I think that was after my first mentorship when I started mentoring. And my first experience in really taking on the karmas of others willingly, using as fuel. And it was a lot. I did need that indie, uh, um, 1 quarter of doing the indie program. And funny enough, the whole time I felt like I had FOMO. I was like, oh shit, I don't think I'm training hard enough. Oh, am I losing like the connection to the cohort, all this stuff. It's just funny to encounter all those things. And yeah, even that provided fuel to do more work, like it's funny in whatever situation, it's not by accident. What does come up is really like the most direct opening to, getting to the essence of your experience, so essence.
yeah, it's really amazing to see, John, you took took the format, the skill, like reformatting the skill, the experience you have, and like, kind of give rise to this embodiment training.
Oh yeah, we were
Yeah.
talking about like just nothing was ever lost. Well, all the things that you gave up, whatever, all the
Yeah,
skills you
right.
acquired. Yeah, like Adrian
That's a
too.
Yeah, yeah. Like we were talking about earlier, you would think that giving up this thing that's so useful to try to in a way ascend it, there's a fear of losing something. But really, whatever I put down, uh, you find that you can pick it back up, and the next time you pick it back up, it's with completely new eyes. So nothing is ever annihilated, right? So yeah,
Mm,
different ways to play with it.
Yeah, like all the commerce that was in the way of realization, you put it down for a while and you realize it was never a problem. You just reclaim all the skills and express them in different ways.
Yeah, the process of reclamation. Yeah, yeah. I never, you know, really thought too much about it until you really feel like, okay, whatever this thing I realize I'm scared to put down, you put it down, and then after that, it's like, oh shit, okay, I understand this reclamation thing now, because not a thing anymore. Once you pick
Yeah,
it
yeah,
back up,
it's like
it's
it's
just
weird
like,
because you can't like you can't force yourself to put it down, neither can you force yourself to pick it up. You just have to
mm-mm.
like kind of occur natural, not organically. That's the real recommendation. Yeah, sure, you have to have the intention, but like you can't really force it or make it into a thing. It's like, oh, I gotta pick this up in order to like, oh, manifest into Dharma, whatever.
Mm.
mm,
Same thing same as when you put it down. It's like you don't actually know until you actually put it down. It's like I think I talked about it before. It's like you don't know what you let go of unless until like you know what I
It isn't
mean?
even the term putting it down. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's not that it takes more effort to do this. It's not a doing. It's an
yeah,
undoing, right? The putting down is an
yeah.
undoing. So it's like yeah. How do there's a distinct difference there. I always talk about that and like the process of undoing versus doing. Like I think most people are still kind of in the like earlier you guys are talking about life experiences, gathering enough life experiences, enough karma basically to really use it as fuel. And I think most people are in the phase of gathering experiences, gathering karma. So in a sense, learning to see what they have, to finally be able to work with it, and then the work is to undo that stuff, to put it down in a
Yeah. I think the
you know. Mm,
one of the big thing I learned from you guys, like you two specifically, is
mm,
your maybe in some way like your unusual comfort with the shadow.
Mm.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think like because maybe a lot of time people don't go there at all, or they go there and they make a
mm.
big deal out of it. Right?
Yeah, I do see myself similar and Frank to that way, in a way how we're different than most people in that way.
Mm.
Yeah, that because I feel like this cohort is the first time like so-called like I learned how to take a punch. Like the first time
Mm,
I like learned to take a punch in my face. I was like, oh, that's how like this is
Mm.
difficult. Right.
Mm.
But I think you guys with this kind of resilience just be able to, all right, get back up another day. Let's go.
Mm.
yeah. It's something about being really okay with being in the muck for me. And I think Frank for sure has it. Um, that I really didn't notice until I kind of see other people. And nowadays, I just see like so many people are so perturbed, disturbed by just things. Um,
Yeah.
now I can totally see how people really don't look certain directions like their whole life. It's just like this unconscious thing. Like they don't just look past a certain way
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
for
yeah,
whatever
No, they
reason,
just
you
don't want to
know.
watch scary movie. They just don't want to
Mhm.
ride roller coaster. That they just won't go on.
Yeah, but like I'm okay looking at it, like and also to take it in, to really feel it, and still not feel stained by it. I guess like um, I think a lot of people, feel really affected. Like an image pops up and like they can't get out of their head. They almost feel cursed by it, or yeah, still working on the process of their mind of how it clings to things and having no sense of control and all that. I can see how that's scary for a lot of people.
mm,
Uh,
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe
yeah,
life experience too, right? If you have a lot of life, that's why people when they get older, they're just I've seen it, I've seen it, but not
mm-hmm,
always, because I feel like a lot of people they go through whole life doing that.
mm-hmm,
But then yeah,
yeah,
I do think there is some truth in like if you have enough life experience, you're gonna come to accept more about
I
like
think so.
the
Yeah, yeah,
darkness of things you're within yourself.
hmm yeah. I'm pretty convinced that as dark and how much suffering is out there in the world, one thing that all convinces me of is how resilient the human is really. Even when
Yeah.
someone's really stubborn, it's like fuck, that's really powerful.
Yeah. Humans are insane actually. Like
Yeah,
I've been
they're
watching like
fucking crazy.
documentaries
Yeah.
about like how we lived through the ice age and stuff. It's like
Mhm.
humans would just proliferate. Like that's our
Mhm.
superpower, but that's also our curse. It's like
Yeah,
humans will,
yeah.
will figure out a way. Like the Earth is gonna go to shit. We're gonna figure out we're gonna go to Mars.
Mhm.
Like there's something like that's been pushing the
I
species
get
along.
you.
That's why
Yeah.
I think Machen always talks about how great the human species is despite all our afflictions. It's like
yeah,
human species is actually a very special species in that way. It's
Yeah.
almost like
Yeah.
cockroaches. You know how cockroaches like they just don't fucking die. We have that karma of like just prevail. But then that's
Yeah.
what's causing all the inconsistency or the resistance.
Right.
But that's also our gift.
Yeah.
We're
Much as
tough.
they gross
We're
me
too
out,
tough.
I highly respect cockroaches.
Yeah. Cockroaches are
Just
like
like
rats, like
yeah.
mammals, Rats just survived through the dinosaurs age and they're still here. I think humans are kind of like that. But with sentient with
I
like
mean, if you think about it, like the reason
higher
why
sentience.
ignorance is, continue is because, in a
Because we
way,
proliferate. Yeah, but
yeah,
we proliferate because we're
that's so
powerful and
strong.
like yeah.
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 So it's like, yeah, to see someone or something, just ignorance in general, it's like, wow, that's powerful. I don't know. Think
Yeah,
about
and that's
the,
interesting that you said that. I think before that when I was going through all these different phases of like Brad Pitt and all that shit, like there's something about like I just knew how to appreciate like the unconscious, the subconscious.
mm,
There's something beautiful about like all the really fucked up. aspect of your mind that's almost like at the subconscious level that's being pushed down by most people. And like I learn how to honor that just by default. I just
Hmm.
find that fascinating.
Yeah. I'm kind of starting to see the same thing in like in a way arrogance. And like fucking I still think Donald Trump is like a pretty despicable human being, but at the same time I see that in a way, like he doesn't hold himself back for nothing. And there's something I can appreciate in that because I kind of see it as a process. It's
Mm.
probably some heavy fucking karma, but at least somehow it's being processed. You know what I mean?
It's like
It's just
unapologetically being yourself, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
right. And it,
yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. I'm not
Yeah, that's
promoting him,
yeah.
but like that's why I have very little sense of shame. And I'm also seeing that it helped me, and that what comes along with that, I think, is a good amount of arrogance too. But being able to even go through that, you know, so it's almost
Mm.
like you need a little bit of that, but not
Yeah.
to get stuck there, you know. Um,
Yeah, Donald Trump is quite pure in a way.
Pure
I don't
ego.
know too much. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a certain type
Even
of
back then, I
energy.
was looking at all those bodybuilders who are like pure ego. I was like, damn, that's like
I think that's like
anti-enlightenment. There's a wholeness
Vegeta.
to it.
Yeah, that's Vegeta superpower. Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, he got a state
Mm,
called, is it Ultra Ego or Super Ego Vegeta?
It's a
Yeah,
superpower in Dragon Ball. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Ultra Ego, because like
Mm.
Goku has Ultra Instinct and Vegeta has Ultra Ego.
Mm.
mm.
It's pure ego.
Is that like pure confidence kind of? I don't know.
I remember
Yeah.
making a video about Rich Piana in like Eckhart Tolle like years ago, or like they're actually two sides of the same coin.
Who's that first person you said?
Rich Piana, that
Rich
bodybuilder
man.
who like died.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. And then I was just started to get into Eckhart Tolle. I was connecting the dots. I was like, this guy's pure ego, but he's almost like anti-enlightenment, but that's just the other side of enlightenment or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like there's a
yeah,
wholeness to it. They're just like themselves. And that's one of the ways we've been presenting like anatta in this boot camp. It's like just if you're just come completely as you are, that's anatta. That you just kind of if you totally
yeah,
accept yourself, take ownership, then you flip inside out. Like you're not even flipping, you're just seeing how like, oh, because once the splitting is what's creating the suffering, right? The or the inconsistency and resistance. Yeah.
yeah. That was a,
So if you
a, a
don't
specific,
split,
yeah.
yeah, you just see through the whole thing. You don't have to like
Hmm.
annihilate
Hmm.
anything.
Yeah, like how you guys are saying, like each boot camp is a new boot camp, right? The flavor for this one that I appreciated was the cessation, the way that was approached at this boot camp was
Mm.
new to me and pretty special. Like it's a
How do you
good
think
subject.
what's your perspective on how the cessation was presented here, this book camp? How's that different
Um,
from how
more
is
than
seizing
more
now
about, I mean,
presented differently?
yeah, it's
Mm,
more about ceasing and seeing how that process happens once the transition from s- stopping to beginning again, to watch
mm,
that and see the choices being made or the choices available when you see that process break down.
mm,
Because I think when I first started CC, watching your videos, Frank, about cessation, I kind of understood maybe what it was, but I didn't really understand the context of why it is something to train towards, right?
I didn't know
Uh,
either. I mean, I
yeah,
got really
yeah,
good at cessation in from that perspective, like a,
hmm,
a
hmm.
blink out, like Daniel Ingram style cessation.
Yep, yep,
But I think the way we present this is ceasing now. Sure, that's part of it that can be included,
yep,
but it's really like
yeah,
you
yeah,
actually have a choice to cease, and
yep,
then you have a choice
yeah,
to make a choice because
yeah,
you're seizing like the because you can't really make a new choice and start repatterning unless you seize your old pattern, right?
yep,
But seizing
yep,
is just is just a starting condition for you to actually make a change
yep,
in your life. If you just
yep.
hang on to the seizing for its own sake, then there's no point.
Yep. Yeah. If you make that the
Yeah.
goal, then it's like, yeah, that wasn't really clear to me. But I also see like there's that. the big cessation, I guess I'll call it, and then the fractal of every cessation happening at every moment that allows
Mhm.
you to start and stop, make that choice right there. So
Mm. Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
kind of funny. It really comes down to like, oh, you got a choice in everything you do to shape your reality in a way.
Yeah, even not making a choice is a choice. Because I think one of the
Mm-hmm.
things we've been talking about in this bootcamp is doing something voluntarily but unconsciously. Like, yeah, that part about like how you can't really manifest anything you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Mm-hmm.
creating a split. Like, I actually don't want this, but if you don't want this, it's not going to show up in your life.
Yeah. It's like
So,
I was
so,
trying to
so
think
even
about
like not making a choice is still a choice. Yeah.
yeah. There's like a how people talk about flow state in general. There's like a more
Hmm.
in my mind. I'm trying to think right now of a smaller scale of flow state of what you're talking about, where yeah, it's like you're making the choices, but it's just the gap is so small. It doesn't even feel like a decision,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's still there. You're still fully participating. So that participation is
Yeah.
choice after choice, really.
I think
Opting in,
participation is like a
opting
big
in.
thing. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big thing
Mm-hmm.
in a big theme in this cohort. How do you
Mm-hmm.
participate in life? Yeah, and also like something Machen talked about too is like you can't actually have free will unless you have some degree of ceasing. Because
Mm-hmm.
most people think they're making a choice is actually still based on the old pattern.
Mm.
That's the paradox. It's like you have to like cease in order to actually have free will in that
Mm-hmm.
sense. And then it's about choosing. Yeah. And then, but it all comes down to like actually everything is your choice. Even if you don't choose anything, there's just a choice in there, just unconsciously but voluntarily.
Yeah, I think that ceasing the function is it helps provide a contrast, right?
Mm,
We have a contrast in sense of, oh, that's what it feels like to choose from a place that you don't have to believe your thought.
mm,
Like you really don't have to always identify with your thought. You can let those things rise up. You can feel those things, and it doesn't have to become a self view, an image of who you are, what you are. Like, oh, I'm a bad person for having these thoughts.
mm,
And you can allow those things to come up because you have a contrast with, oh, there is this like this is codependent arising. It's not my thought in that way.
mm,
It's not like a possession that when we claim and then we have like, oh my God, I have all these bad thoughts.
mm,
Therefore,
mm,
I am a dot 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 not good person, so on and so forth. Yeah. That's maybe that's one of the observation I have about how maybe the collective fitness of CC has come to the point that we can really study and investigate very fine details of cessation, like on the different ways, right? Like the
yeah.
seizing of the future, not trying to clinging towards a certain outcome, seizing of the past, not trying to constantly ruminate or look for reference point from the past, like, oh, is it kind of like that framework? Is it kind of like what this teacher said, or is it kind of like on that momentum? And seize that.
Mm,
And they're not trying to be the one that realize, right? And maintain a constant ongoing grasp towards I am
like
whatever,
insights or
whatever.
realizations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the training of ceasing is also just a good practice of not adding more than what's already happening. Right. I think yeah, it's hard to distinguish where our efforts are that don't continually, you know, add on to whatever hindrances you have. It's yeah. So to cease, it's like starting like clearing the board and seeing it rebuild back up. Oh shit, this is already all the stuff I'm doing, you know.
Yeah. I think one of the terms we use is like interruption in a being. Like you can interrupt whatever pattern is compounding that's going on. You can actually like interrupt it and then find a different routing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, intercepting fist. It's like you're just interrupting yourself to have a choice.
Yeah, but I think it's really kind of like that, right? Like having this sense
Hmm.
of when we feel the contraction, we know, oh, relax. And when
Yeah.
too loose, like, oh, it's time to bring it. But of course, I think it's much, much, much easier said than done.
Mhm. Totally. You guys, I have to jump off. Good to jump on and join you guys for a little bit.
This season finale,
Yeah.
John.
Season
Yeah,
finale.
oh yeah, that's right. I'm glad I got to pop
All
in. Yeah, guys. I'll see you
right,
guys
John.
soon.
I'll see you
Yep,
later
yep.
at the
All
meeting,
right.
right?
Bye,
All right,
guys.
see ya.
Are
All right,
there any more questions?
we got maybe to take one last question.
All
What
right.
about flipping that on its head? Be the bad person with all the bad thoughts, fully embody all that, and then exhaust that to the end too. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I've been talking
yeah,
about, kind of. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
They're
Be the
the same thing.
problem that
Like,
way.
yeah, be the problem. Yeah. That's why we've been saying how like to realize self-emptiness, you just have to come as you are, be fully yourself. Yeah. That's why like me and John's path was kind of like, yeah.
Mm. But I think based on that, then it's a conversation about the the potential cost of how costly is our growth, right? Because
Mm,
if so-called we are bad person with these bad thoughts and then we carry out activities that
true.
would then, burn away our merit. And in that regard, then that's pretty costly,
Yeah.
right? Like,
That's why it's
yeah,
different in every situation, really. It's like just because you're okay, just because you're fully yourself doesn't mean that there still needs to be discernment about like how you express that this part
yeah,
of you, right? Yeah,
because
accepting it
yeah,
doesn't mean overexpressing all the time. Because
yeah,
that can
because
sometimes be an exit strategy.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
gonna be myself. I'm just gonna keep repeating a pattern in a way where it hurts other people or it just continue that pattern. That doesn't work either. So that's why the neither resistant or non-resistant is also one of the most potent instructions, right?
Mm. Because we're also not just in our own solipsistic bubble, right? There's engagement with other people, there's all these dynamics.
Yeah.
And if we do activities, commit to activities that would bring harm to other, then like that would reflect back to us.
Yeah, that's what I learned throughout the years. It's like before I was like hurting so many people, not like physically, not like that. It's weird because like even when I hurt them, they it's like they still like forgive me and stuff. I feel like I can get away with everything, but that shouldn't be an excuse like to like
Mm.
continue that pattern because it does come back to. But that's what I'm saying. Even if they still love you, it doesn't give you an excuse to continue because at the end it comes back to you. Or if you want to continue to grow, you just can't be doing keep doing it.
Do you feel like that this cohort of size will relate with that a lot more? And actually to
Mm.
see a lot of things in my life, maybe I got away with it when I was like, oh no, like the cost is still right here. It
Yeah,
patterns the way I behave and kind of block out certain developmental pathway because
true,
like I don't
true.
need to develop that. Blah, 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 blah. But
Mm.
how was it for you to maybe to see that, oh, these these dynamics has actually enabled a pattern of mind that is not very virtuous.
Mm. A lot of it just seeing the maturation of my like current relationship. Like I see a lot of patterns that were there before is not there anymore. When if it's there, it's like very quickly recognized and expressed. Yeah.
Mm,
Or even just like working like trying to work together as a team or whatever. It's like a lot of my solipsis tendencies is just being recognized. I'm not saying I don't have any anymore. I still have those tendencies, but I'm also not trying to like reject them either. But just seeing that, oh, actually, what we were talking about in the beginning is like a lot of your strength and a lot of like what you think is working can actually be like its own blind spot. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think for me, recognize these things is also to see like the got away with it, the kind of that kind of sentiment.
Hmm.
Made me reflect about living a comfortable life where we can get away with it is actually has a lot of suffer.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, it's like kind of like we've been talking about creating that conditioning for you to continue a certain way of being. that you think it's actually benefiting yourself and other people, but it might not be, right?
Yeah. And I think looking back can actually bring up a lot of shame and guilt that we walk through, that requires you to walk through. Um, and I think maybe it, for me, it comes up in a case of missed opportunities,
Mm.
right?
Like
Of
what?
like kind of stagnation. For example, I'll share an example. For example, I was going through school with a lot of get away with it in regarding to just like not being like even the math thing, like and in secondary school, in high school, I learned a little bit of math, but then I was like, I don't need it in real world. Who needs math in real world? I hold that view. So then I enter college, choose a major that didn't have any math, and didn't really resolve those problems I have with just relationship to analytical thinking and math in that regard. And I
Mm.
think I got away with it. It was like life continues, it's fine. I can still do business or still work jobs, whatever. But then now I see, oh, actually no, like the problem still very much here.
Mm.
And that's one example. Or the other example is like going to life and not like relying too much on kind of like, oh, I'm smart enough that I don't have to come very prepared. I can just wing it, right? I can just follow my intuition. But after a while, I realize that, oh, I would forever stop at this level. I can't go
Mm.
beyond it. Just gonna be this level again and again and again and again because like some sort of foundation is missing because I got
Mm.
away with it, right? So things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it's coming back to a lot of the basic stuff like relationality, how to work as a team, how to show up for one another, how to stay true to your commitment, how to reflect, and how to um, yeah, explore what it means to be yourself.
Mm. Yeah, still a lot to learn. Always, the more you learn, the more you see like how ignorant you still are, actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In this cohort, I think that has been very much like the ongoing like
Yeah.
insight into just
Yeah.
the previous way that all the ways that I got it wrong, pretty much.
Mm. Yeah.
Yes, like got that
Yeah.
wrong, got this wrong.
Yeah, it's like when once you start to really see how you're using spirituality to like insist or hide, it's like it's hard to get away with things because the bubble is so thick, actually. It's so convincing that you, man, you got this figured out, and like you don't need to
Yeah,
pay
yeah, yeah,
attention to that. But then once you really start to see through that, then it's like you're kind of forced to contend with certain things.
yeah,
Yeah, the most mundane things. Yeah. Yeah, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah.
yeah. In that way, like the path and the practice, coming together, having companions, all this thing about mini bootcamp coming up, training together like this is at the same time much more, much simpler, actually much easier, but it's also much more like it's also brought up, it also brings up so much resistance. That's so interesting, right? Like
Mm,
a part of us really wants to complicate this and make
yeah.
it very difficult for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, just like I was talking about earlier, it's like you want this but you don't want this. Is that paradox? It's like it's easier but it's also harder. Because that's what happens at the edge. We have to contend with just different vectors. It's like Odysseus, right? When he was like trying to hear the sirens. It's like I forgot what the quote was. Like he really wants to hear what the sirens is like a sound something you absolutely don't want to hear, but you also must hear it. But then you also realize you already have it or something like that. I forgot what the exact quote, but that was like one of the most beautiful quotes in the movie.
Let me pull it up. Maybe we can muse on this and end the call.
Do you remember what I'm talking
Odysseus.
about?
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
he was like,
Siren.
yeah, yeah, the siren thing.
What did
It's like truth, right? You want to hear the truth, but
say
you don't want to hear the
about?
truth. But then at the same time, you already have it. Because it's really beyond like like the because all these paradoxes is still within the conceptual mind, right? It's like what's beautiful is not beautiful. You should hear this, you should not hear this.
Yeah, I'm Googling it. It doesn't mention explicitly the quote,
The quote.
uh, but it's something about like I don't know. I think it's something about it's a song about what you want the most, but you can't have.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like one layer. But
yeah.
then
There's
it's
another layer
actually
to it.
there's another layer which is like then you realize you already had it and then you
Yeah.
lost it.
Mm,
That's the thing. Like you like the thing you really are still striving to have.
mm,
Like the first layer is you recognize you can't have it. So like there's that frustration. But then
mm,
there's a layer of the song which is like, bro, you already got it, but then you lost it
mm. And then I think
already.
there's another
Yeah.
layer. It's like you never lost it, or something like that, right? Or not? I don't know. Or is that's just my interpretation?
Oh, okay. So the Google AI mentioned Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. Odyssey explained that the siren song represents the unbearable, unscratchable itch of lost, unfulfilled desires and the profound guilt of broken promises. Rather
Mm,
than offering forbidden knowledge, this version of the song confronts the hero with his deepest trauma, ultimately suggesting he no longer wishes to return home.
mm. Wait, what does that mean? Yeah, there's also I think Odysseus part of him doesn't want to go home. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, too much guilt.
Yeah, too much shame and guilt. It's almost like you don't want to go back to life after like you realize something. You're like you have a shift and you don't want to go back down. It's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be like the recognition of what was the cost of like the life choices you have made to get to this moment is too unbearable. It's like you have to
Mm,
see if it's talk about non-duality, right? You have to see all the dualities of it. You have to see how you're a good guy and you're also the bad guy, and
mm,
like the thing you like going beyond these kind of dualities. It could be too much.
mm. Yeah, and also I think we talked about it, like all the ways that you hurt other people and stuff like that. It's
Yeah, yeah,
like people that got you here. Yeah,
yeah.
really paying homage to them.
All right. Any
Yeah.
seasonal conclusion, boss? We may have
Mm.
the another episode next week where we talk about mini bootcamp. Maybe we'll have a special episode just for mini bootcamp or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, we can
Well,
do that. Yeah, we can recap
yeah.
the boot camp. Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about like what if I could just sum up like what exactly like has been like the change this cohort is like I don't really make a big thing out of anything that much anymore. Yeah. It's like yeah, I'm still doing the work, but it's just everything is cool kind of. Yeah. I know I still have a lot to learn, but it's like that's cool too. It's like, I'm not like really holding on to oh that's the next thing I gotta do or try to fix. It's just yeah.
It's really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it come in the sense of a relief?
Yeah, yeah. I think like there's I don't know if it's a relief. Yeah, it's not even a relief. It's just slowly
Like,
recognizing it. Yeah, that's what I keep trying to like articulate. It's like it's like you see through something or like you quote unquote let go of something, but you don't even know it. Because if you kind of still hang on to the fact that you let it go, there could be still
mhm,
like a thing. It's just like slowly I just realized like I don't really make a big deal out of anything anymore. It doesn't mean I'm enjoying life less. It's not an apathy. It's like this maybe dispassion is the word. Yeah, which includes
mm,
passion, right? Yeah, I think dispassion, like tapping deeper into dispassion.
mm.
Yeah. But it's just been a slow progress. This process, right? I've been doing this for a while now, man. It's like even since the like Big Bang, if you like want to make that a point of like that shift or whatever, it's been like 6 years, man.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. It's been 6 years. It's been a while. Uh, just kind of also like yeah, just kind of stop caring about like hang on to your own path that much. And of course, that just comes with like having people pointing this out to me and getting feedback from you guys and just in general. Just like people are realizing shit in the boot camp. Like we don't make a big deal out of it. You know? Yeah. It's just like normalizing most things now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that also comes with age too, right? Like, oh shit, we gotta go to a meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
All
Maybe
right,
this is
bro.
a season finale for
To the
the
finale.
yeah, for the
You know
current
how Breaking
round.
Bad, there's like a special episode, special movie after, like, yeah, we could do a standoff or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But thanks, Frank. I've been
All
really
right.
enjoying doing these episodes with you.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Shout out the
Yeah,
audience as
yeah.
well.
I was just like thinking today. I just want to say one last thing. I was kind of reflecting on like this entire journey. I think you helped me out the most. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thanks, man.
I mean, Machen is his own thing, but like you helped me out the most. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah. Just paying back what you and your work did for me, man, on the way
yeah.
back.
Thanks. Full
Yeah.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, I think in some ways this cohort finally got me to a point that like, okay, I have to live my life now.
Mm.
It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really weird to say that, but I think it's like but there's that sentiment of like I had to figure out my life in the fullest sense of that word.
Yeah.
Not even to hold
It's pretty
on
touching.
yeah,
Yeah.
any kind
Not
of
even hold on
spiritual
to CZ
paradigm.
or any. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You can just. Yeah. Yeah. When I was your age, that's when I first started like really like express myself, like putting myself out there. That's when I started to realize I need to like do my thing, whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. 27 is it's an interesting age. Yeah.
yeah.
You're
A lot of people
27 right
die.
now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of people
Yeah.
die at that age. Yeah, yeah. I'm 27. All right.
All right, man.
Thanks,
Enjoy the
Frank.
Kanye concert. All right. Let's see you at the meeting.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
See ya. Bye bye. Check out our link for the
Yeah.
embodiment.
But
Sorry, mini bootcamp.
yeah, I'll do the title and the thumbnail, whatever. Yeah, I forgot to do it last week. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, check
All
out
right.
the